Today I'm going to show you some of the new features with the lip sync effect that we've actually got coming out in the new next release that will be out shortly, probably later this summer. So we've added some new ways to actually configure the faces. And prior to this, you actually configured a map for your string-based effects inside the actual editors where you make your sequences. We've actually changed this around a little bit and moved that into the display setup where it's more appropriate and added a new ways of doing it. So here you see I've got a chroma bulb. I'm actually going to select all the elements here. And then I'm going to use the face mapping wizard and go in here and create the editing. Now this will look familiar to you. This is where you've done the same basic things before with selecting which face parts map to each particular element. We've just moved it into this display setup area here and simplified it a little bit. One thing you will notice up here is that we've added outlines and eyes, so you can actually select which ones of these elements are your eyes open, your eyes closed, and the outline components. Color is basically the default color, just like it's always been before, and that passes through on both pieces here. So really the concept here is select the actual check marks by the pieces that should be active on each individual element when whichever phoneme is applied. So then you set all that up and you hit OK. This creates properties just like we've done in the past with other elements, and your color and your patching is something that's new this year as well, and your dimming curves. So this actually labels these individual elements with the pieces that they are. So once we do that once in setup for each particular item that we have. I've got these other chroma bulbs here that I've actually already configured the same way as well. They're all set up and ready to go. So now when I actually go into a sequence here and actually go to do some sequencing with it, we've made quite a few changes here as well. One thing that you're going to immediately notice here is the new way that we can facilitate by showing labels up here for the individual marks. So we've always had the mark collection down here before where you make marks, and they used to be just simple lines throughout the timeline here, but now we've added the ability to add length to those and actually color code those and put a label on each one. So this allows us to take, we've got some new facilities here to be able to do some lip sync with these things. So this is the phrase that I'm using. So as I wish it were Christmas, and I've further got it broken down into this word collection here, which is the pieces of the words where they actually sit start to end, and then each word is then broken down into the phonemes that apply to make up that word. So there's 3 different mark collections here. I've actually just got them turned on up here so you can visualize them. I only have the lead mark for the actual phrases turned on in the editor, but I can actually turn on or turn off these other spots as well. If you wanted to see those, is how they line up. So we'll turn on these just for effect here. We've modified the lip sync effect now too, so it still has the features to work like it always did, where you can pick the actual phoneme and set them in there wherever you want. But now you can actually create, and you'll see that this is a much longer effect here, and I've got it kind of aligned up with the phrase here. And I've got this set up to use mark collections now. I've got it pointed to the simple plan phoneme track, which is my red track here with the phonemes in it. I'm using face definition mapping, which is using those mappings that I created in the display setup. I've told it to actually turn the eyes open and show the outline. And the effect now reads these phonemes from the collection, and it automatically generates the phonemes in the places that they belong. So now I can actually take, and when I play this, and let me fix this so it sits on top here. So now when I play these individual, you actually see that it's actually
Christmas every day. We could
It's actually following along and doing those movements automatically for you. So no longer do you have to actually, configure each part of the lip sync effect, and you can just adjust the marks up here. So now, let me move this back out of the way. So now if I go in here and I just make a tweak here to this particular mark, you'll see how the effect automatically adjusts and reflects the change that I made whenever I adjust the mark up there. So that's all, where now you can just adjust these marks up here. The other nice thing is these marks obviously can be exported and shared amongst others. They also support importing these from Papagayo tracks. So if you've made tracks in Papagayo, you can import them as these phoneme type mark collections. We also support importing the X timing marks from one of the other sequencers out there. So there's multiple ways to get these marks created either yourself or utilizing some that other folks have created. So then this actually brings along some other interesting pieces here now. So before, whenever I wanted to, move this, say I want to move this track, like this portion here, when we see it play here, we actually see that it brings on these additional quartet singers here. So all four of them are singing there. But in the past, I would have to actually, take this and I could, move this from one to another, but then I would have to tell it to use the map for the chroma bulb too. And that would mean an adjustment. Now I can just simply move it between these individual chroma bulbs and actually pick which one of these I want to be singing at a time without really having to adjust the effect anymore now, because it reads off of those element maps automatically. So now you can see that I've just moved that down there, and then I hit play here, and only one of the four is actually singing the one that I've actually chosen to move that to. So it's as simple as just moving those around, no more playing with the maps. For the string type elements, so the maps still apply for the matrix or imaged overlay type ones, because that may or may not be the actual image that you want for each one of those. But if you're just using the same image on multiple matrices, then you can move it around in the same way. We've also kept the way to edit those up here as well. So before you used to go in here and edit the maps to create those, then there's an option here to go in and do this. And this is similar to what I did in the display setup, where I would go in and select all of these, and then I open it up, and it brings me that same screen. It's doing the same thing here, editing these pieces as I was doing in the display setup. This is just a shortcut to it in the editor to kind of maintain consistency from what we had before, and make it a little easier for folks to transition there. So there was a lot of stuff there, a lot of high level going over, but that's some of the new things coming in the lip sync effect for 2018 season.